Good morning. You're now listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York, 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatis, and thank you for tuning in and sharing the morning with us, being early birds like us on this Monday. What is it? November 22nd. I didn't check the date today yet. Monday 22nd, and a few days before Turkey Day. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Moms, we don't know how you do it all, but you do. You are part teacher, counselor, chef, and doctor, all rock star. Being a mom today is complicated and sometimes unpredictable, but it's those precious moments that make your journey together crazy and wonderful. At the American Heart Association, we know your family is why. That's why we're here for you, to make sure more of those moments happen, to make sure a healthier, longer life is possible for you and your family. We're impacting laws that help shape healthier communities, but we can't do it without you. Moms are at the heart of change. So here's to you, Mom. Here's to impacting the health of our future. Moms United can make real change. Start by visiting lifeiswhy.org/moms. The American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association. Life is why.
This is Cameron Rylands. Many families in our area will not have a happy holiday, and the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund will help them. We are asking for your contribution to purchase children's clothes, toys, and food for seniors. You can drop off your contribution at the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street in Kingston. Thank you.
And again, you're here with us at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ 920 on your AM dial, 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. 331-9255 is our call-in number, 331-9255. And we have Don Williams, Tony Marmo in today, and good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dan. It's Marvelous Monday. I was waiting to do that all weekend.
We have to talk about your life. You spent the weekend.
I'm all geared up.
Doing Marvelous Monday.
Marvelous Monday. That's what I was thinking about. Well, we're pinch hitting for Dr. Alio today.
Yes. Yes. Okay. But we knew you were coming in.
Yeah, he's going to be on next Monday, but he had 4th and 5th, and he had scheduled something today. So
that's quite a pinch hit. What a great show!
He does a great show, yes. Dr. Ed. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my name is Donald.
Oh yeah, that's right. You do have
And I'm second seat here to Tony today.
No,
I was waiting for Tony to introduce
never second seat. You're always at the bench.
You know Dan's voice.
I know.
What a great voice.
I know.
If I had that voice, I could still be prosecuting cases right now.
You could. From another room even. You could just throw your voice.
I've been asked by judges and several other people to sit in another room during trials. In fact, attorneys used to ask that of me when I was a judge. So.
Yeah. Was that a personality that was in you somewhere, or just and it came out a little bit more on the bench? Or as a DA, I know you were very
aggressive.
Yeah, I mean you were right on your game all the time.
You know, Tony, I don't know. I'm certainly I can't psychoanalyze myself, but I always had a feeling to begin with to try to do justice.
Yeah.
And would try to stand up to bullies, even though it did cause me to get my butt kicked a few times, but I would.
Right, yeah.
But then I learned my first 14 years, I appeared as an assistant DA in front of the Honorable Francis J.
Yeah, he was a legend,
and,
right? Legend.
You know, to ensure that both sides get a fair trial, there are times you have to step in because One attorney may be very theatrical, may be manipulating the facts, may be much more aggressive than the other attorney. And you cannot allow manipulation, distortion of the law, nor you have to balance the equities between the two attorneys.
We're going to talk about this a little bit later on in the show, and I'll tell you, because I'm thinking about the Rittenhouse trial. Right. That judge was more active and animated. I've never, I have very little experience in this area, obviously. You have thousands of hours on the bench and studying and doing this and that. He and the prosecuting attorney just seemed like he was trying to push buttons.
And we'll talk about it if you'd like. But,
I'd like to do that.
But in essence, that he was a fine judge. I would have preferred, especially in such a high-profile case, that he would have reserved some of the comments. And I'm not just talking about the Chinese food comment. You have to play.
Character.
He is quite a character, but he obviously understood the law, and he was not going to tolerate any nonsense in his courtroom, especially when the prosecutor, most certainly at bare minimum, overstepped overstepped legal argument and indeed did, in my opinion, commit prosecutorial misconduct.
Wow.
So the response by that judge, my response would have been similar, perhaps being a little bit more articulate.
Do you think TV had anything to do with that?
Not to this man. I remember the O.J. Simpson case. Judge Ito was a disgrace.
Yeah.
He was a disgrace. He played to the camera, played to the audience. No, my sense from this man, and I don't know him from Adam, my sense from this man is what you saw during this trial is exactly what you would see during every trial. He was not going to tolerate, especially from a prosecutor, a violation of the canons of ethics or an attempt to distort or manipulate the jury. And that's, for that reason, he's a good judge.
Yeah. He was pretty demonstrative and clear, and I wish
he could have been a little bit more clear, but I'm really...
you're looking at
I'm
it
nitpicking
from,
now because I think he did a fine job. And what you have to understand, none of those outbursts occurred in front of the jury. That is where a judge can really do harm and damage if an outburst or a statement, a reprimand to an attorney, whether it's prosecutor, defense attorney, occurs in front of the jury. Because the one person that 12 jurors see as above all of the fray is the judge. And it can have an impact. Anyway.
Did you watch any of the trial, Dan, at all?
I did not, no.
Yeah,
I missed it.
I normally don't, but this one was kind of compelling in my mind. I didn't watch much of it, quite honestly. And so, I thought it was pretty interesting. So how are you doing, Dan? Let's hear from Dan the man.
Oh, we're doing fine over here. Doing good. Yes.
All is good.
He's looking rather stylish today, too. He's got the
touche, guys, touche.
Ralph Lauren, GQ look.
That's a guy in a horse.
Yeah, it's a polo pony that I end up pressing on. It's one of those iron-on Ralph Lauren.
It's like a henna tattoo.
I bought this at Discount Beverage, the sweater, but then I press. Well, you don't even have to buy it. You buy 2 6-packs of more expensive.
And then you get a free shirt, huh?
You're pretty in pink today.
You damn Italian, man. I'm half Italian, by the way, when I say that. They're all the same, Dan, you know?
Straight and pink.
It's all the same. I didn't say anything about the form-fitting shirt you're wearing today.
It's not form-fitting. I get it shrunk a little bit.
Or you mean you grow
I grow into it.
Yeah.
Grow into it, yeah.
Oh, we always discuss some of the more pertinent issues that are ongoing in this community.
I heard you and Dan did a great job on the radio last Thursday, and I appreciate that, pinch hitting.
It's no problem.
Dan Gruner's a great guy, and on top of his game in terms of what's going on in the communities. He's great on the radio. So
he's a bright, knowledgeable person.
He is. He's great.
However, between Dan and yours truly. Mm-hmm. I don't think the guests had a chance to speak, so we're working on that. We're going to work on that.
And speaking about guests today, we have Jillian, I think it's Nadiak Bruck. who works at SUNY Ulster and has a not-for-profit helping veterans with PTSD and substance abuse issues, and Taylor Bruck, who works for Ulster County and is our county historian. They're coming in roughly around 7:15, 7:20. So
they are husband and wife.
Husband and wife. Cute couple, if I do say so myself. But now I'm probably
Tony,
leading the witness.
I've known both of those names independently, but I didn't put it together that they were hitched.
You know, Tony, let's try to keep appearances out of it. I happen to have great respect and admiration for the two of them, not only because of their intellect, but also based upon what they've done.
Their resumes are amazingly, and I know I have T-shirts older than both of them, so I have a great.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
I have a great 1977 T-shirt, John Wetland from the New York Yankees, mobbing the mound.
Sure, John Wetland.
John Wetland, yeah.
That's when Mariano Rivera was Wetland's setup man.
Correct.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So that's.
I hate the Yankees.
I know you do, but I thought it's a true story about a T-shirt. That's a
great story,
from 1977.
That's a great story. I can
vouch for the same thing. I think I have a couple sweaters or something like that that I still.
You don't want to give up. I have an old
from the
Seton
60s.
Hall.
Yeah, from the 60s.
Yeah, from late 60s.
Wow.
A couple of them. Yeah.
I have an
Seton
old
Hall.
Seton Hall practice basketball jersey
cool.
from my first year at Seton
Wow.
Hall. My wife.
Cool.
Oh, I love that. It made me think that I was an athlete in college.
Right.
But my late wife ended up cutting it up and using it for rags. That was
her.
That was the first paragraph in the petition for divorce. I know my wife and I did not get divorced, by the way, but
I get
she
that.
cut my Seton Hall practice
Lord
jersey.
love a duck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be a little upset with that one.
Well, I wouldn't be able to fit in it today anyway.
Well, it's
Tony,
okay.
so.
You could get some sides sewn into it easily enough.
Is that is that a tip that you know from experience?
No, but concerts, people go to concerts. You know, it'd be cool. They probably didn't sell T-shirts at Woodstock, did they? Anybody know if they sold T-shirts?
No one wore any shirts at Woodstock.
There were very few Sands T-shirts.
They must have.
They must have sold, right?
Sure. I think probably most of the people at Woodstock tried to smoke their T-shirts.
It was made with hemp thread.
It probably was. If not then, it is today.
Anyway, so then we have, after that, we have our friend Ken Cooper. Ken's a dear friend and former director of security at Bard College. Expert testimony. He gives expert testimony on use of force.
Correct.
Which several trials. He's done that over time. Some pretty high profile. I
wasn't aware of that. I haven't. Ken never appeared in my.
I think Diallo.
He testified.
I think so. You gotta have to ask him this. You don't think so?
I don't know.
We'll have to ask him.
I followed that trial.
He might have. He might have.
With WTZA.
Yeah, we'll have to.
They had me as a guest commentator.
I know he's done a couple of high profile ones.
Diallo was the
guy that
Diallo,
got shot
the gentleman that was
32
shot 32 times. Yeah. Wow.
And then for those of us that are past the ripe age of 65,
Dan doesn't look 65.
He doesn't look. We have Peter Ryan, my good friend and Highland Rotarian, who is a Medicare expert. He's a guy that's going to advise you to be in plan this and not plan that.
May ask Dan a couple of questions.
We can ask Peter Ryan a couple. Oh, you want to ask Dan a couple of questions?
No, I mean Ryan. I'm sorry, Peter.
Yes,
Ryan.
Peter Ryan.
Oh.
I could preside over a murder case easier than navigate Medicare.
That's why Peter is here. We should have a really interesting show today. Kind of put together fairly quickly. But thank you for pinch hitting.
It's not a problem, Tony.
We appreciate it.
Of course, I have to be left out early to travel to Peekskill, but don't worry about
Good for you.
Well, as long
By
as
the way, you were saying about Medicare being onerous. It's like doing when you're learning about it. It's like doing a 30-year college course.
It's
really at that level. There's a lot to know.
And I think that I'm not an unintelligent person, So what about
It's
these
overwhelming.
poor individuals that do not read this stuff? It's more
Well, you get stuff in the mail, right? I mean,
Oh,
it's just, they
consistently.
inundate you. Yeah.
consistent.
But I think hopefully Peter will make it simple, or we'll call it Medicare for Dummies. But maybe
Will you be asking questions? You deserve it. I feel like Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon. You set yourself up all the time.
what are you talking about? It's
No, I am.
No, it's weird.
I will be the
Peter-
first dummy. It's complicated.
Peter, yeah, it is complicated stuff, and it's a little overwhelming. So
It is.
So yeah, and we're coming up to holidays, interesting times all over the place, and be prepared for there's no whatever on the shelf. Maybe I don't know. Turkeys, I heard,
think,
have gone. We're going down to Long Island, but I heard they're super expensive.
Someone said they bought a kosher turkey. I saw this on TV. It was $90.
$90 for a turkey.
A kosher. I know kosher food is special, and it has to be blessed by a rabbi and done in particular
I mean,
kitchens.
how big's the turkey? What was it, like 15 pounds? I mean, that's
The individual that bought it. $90.
No, I think that's more than twice the previous year. At least more than twice
Well,
the
that's
previous
taking
year.
what
Yeah.
gasoline prices. Unfortunately,
boy.
I'm traveling. Hi, folks.
yes.
Hi, how are
Welcome.
Where are we traveling to?
I travel every day now, so the price
know.
of gas is affecting me, especially because I'm a senior
I
and
know
I'm
that.
on a fixed income now. Come on. I'm letting
No,
you
no,
say
you're.
something.
Yeah, I can't believe that's
How you
true.
doing,
By the way, I
folks?
can't believe that's true that you're a senior. You don't look like a senior.
Oh, God, what do you want next? And he calls me like on a Sunday. Can you fill in tomorrow at 5 a.m.?
Yeah, right.
The first time I was on the show, he made me walk
Yeah,
12
in a
blocks through a
snowstorm.
blizzard to get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It wasn't a snowstorm. It was a blizzard. It was amazing. And I said, they're not going to have a show this morning. Yet they did. They
Well,
did.
Taylor and I were talking about 7:15, so I guess we have a lot to learn.
Yeah, you're doing good. Yeah, right. Welcome, Jillian, and welcome, Taylor. How are you two today?
Very good.
Good. Thanks for coming in last minute. Really, this was all kind of put together, really, since about Friday or Saturday. So
Contacted you also at the last minute?
I think it was about 10 o'clock last night.
There seems to be a habit forming here. Very nice. I don't think I've ever met you guys before. It's Donald Williams, but a
Yes.
pleasure to meet you.
You know him by reputation,
By
probably.
reputation, your face, I'm familiar, but we probably haven't met in person. So
Oh,
This is the
were
first.
either of you ever on a jury?
I almost was on a jury.
Oh,
Never.
so you're part of the panel that came in?
Did
or
you
no?
ever appear in front of Judge Williams?
No.
Oh, no.
I don't think so.
Every
No.
time I say that, I see somebody I've not met before. I go, "Hi, how are you?" I don't. You look familiar, and they'll go, "No, get back, stay away." It
I
wasn't.
feel like I've run into you in the elevator in the courthouse.
Oh, I'm
potentially.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Give a
sure.
little background on yourselves in terms of where you're working, what you're doing, how long you've been doing it. We know.
Sure. All right. So Taylor's giving me the go ahead.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Right?
How to have a successful marriage, tell her.
Exactly.
So I'm Jillian Nadiak-Bruck, and I'm with the Healing Community Study in the Ulster County Department of Health. I wear a few different hats in my personal life. Today I'm hoping to talk about a documentary that I'm featured in that was just released, and the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration, and a show that I have coming up, which I'm hoping my band leader sends me some details on soon.
Show as in musical performance.
Yes, I sing backup vocals in Sheila D. and the Dazzlers, and we are performing on December 5th at the Hope Rocks Festival Christmas
Sheila
holiday
D.
show.
and the Dazzlers. Wow.
Don't look at me.
I'm a dazzler.
68. I'm going to know who that is. Jeez.
All right. That's something we have a lot to hear about then.
Wow, you talk about multi-talented.
Yeah, multitasking.
If we
And,
can't fit it in, it's fine.
Yeah.
Great.
And I know once upon a time you're also involved in martial arts because Keith Bennett's a good friend of mine. And
Yes.
so he just had an opening, so congratulations to Keith. New dojo, right? New
Absolutely.
karate studio.
Jillian, what is it that you don't do? For this? I mean, that covers a lot.
Cook.
How about I'm trying to think too. I'm like,
I apologize to both of you. I apologize to the entire listening audience. Remember, I'm only half Italian. Tony's 100%.
I also do laundry.
Not a big deal anymore. not a big deal anymore.
I cook, do
laundry. Is more
laundry.
important than cooking. You know.
You don't
That's
make.
why God made takeouts.
You
Come on.
expect Leanne
DoorDash?
to serve you?
No, not at all.
I didn't think
Do I look
she
like
would.
I eat a lot? I'm just curious.
You really do like opening yourself up. No, you look at. I can't believe you're a day over 70. It just shocks
thank
me.
you. I'm 80, but
You look-
who's counting?
You look good, Tony.
Let's get to Taylor. Taylor, what's your story?
Sure, I'm Taylor Brook. I'm the Ulster County Archivist. So my day job, I manage all of the county's historic records dating back to 1658, and also the City of Kingston historian. So I also help promote the city's history,
Yeah, geez, what a
among other
job.
things.
How did you? The first part? Is that under Nina Poshapak?
It is.
She's a great lady.
She's amazing.
How long have you been there, Taylor?
I just passed my 5-year anniversary, so I'm going on year 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're both locals? Both grew up in the Kingston area? Kingston High School graduates?
I grew
I
up
am.
in Ellenville.
Oh, Ellenville.
Yeah, but I came to Kingston for this young man. So.
Okay, great. It's a big journey. Big journey from Ellenville here.
You know, I
22
can-
miles and a lot of traffic
He
lights.
calls
and-
me a mountain girl sometimes because there's
Oh, yeah.
stuff I
No,
just don't
she's-
understand about the big city.
Yeah, you would be surprised how remote Ellenville can be.
I've been to Ellenville frequently. That's but not.
Well,
Kingston is not
I
a
think-
thriving metropolis, or at least it never
Like
used to.
209, that's about all I am down one of the streets that have the restaurants. What is that one? I don't know what.
Well, even that, I grew up on the outskirts of Ellenville.
Yeah, that's what I'm
so I was
talking
up
about.
in
I-
the mountains with no Wi-Fi for 21 years before I moved to Korea for a year. So then I came back and
Do they have Wi-Fi in Korea?
yes,
Probably
the
every
best.
Not a bad move.
Yeah.
So college for both? College?
I went to SUNY Ulster for theater for 2 years, and then New Paltz for journalism for the final, and Korea University in between that.
Wow. What years? You may have known my son or daughter. My daughter went to SUNY Ulster. In fact, well, you went to Kingston High School.
Maybe that's how I know you. I don't know. SUNY Ulster was 2010 to 2012,
Okay.
and New
Well,
Paltz
she
was.
is now 26. So you're
I'm 29.
okay. I was going to say my son is 30, but you didn't go to Kingston High School. How about
No.
you, Taylor? You
I
went to
did.
Kingston High.
Oh, yeah.
How old are you, if I could be so bold to ask?
31.
Did you know my son, Colin Williams?
Colin Williams.
You would never imagine dreadlocks, long blonde hair, tattoo, nose ring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, I
He's
did.
just the greatest. And he went to
Actors,
SUNY
equity.
New Paltz also. Anyway,
So did I.
that's
Maybe
And
you
SUNY Ulster. Yeah. It's a pretty common path, it seems.
what was your area of study?
Marketing, of all things.
Wow.
The archivist position is a civil service position. So it was take a test. If you're in the top 3, good luck.
Yeah.
So I went in the top 3, and
Bright young man.
when I met with Nina, she said, well, we have a museum, the Matthew S. Person House, and part of our mission is, getting the word out. So I said, well, I was a marketing major. That's actually what I'm good at.
Are you at the Matthew Pearson House? That's on the corner
Only
of.
Saturdays, but the season's closed now. So that's really a seasonal thing for us.
Great. Being a historian, you probably know that is the only place in the United States that has 4 stone buildings on the corners.
Yeah.
Now you might think I'm very bright. No, I was born and raised on 57 Crown Street, which is
Oh, wow.
3 houses down. So
Very cool.
no one knows that.
No.
No one in this area. I never went to the Senate House. No one understands the history in this city. It's
About
amazing.
marketing, huh?
We definitely take it for granted if you're born here.
Yeah.
You almost grow up assuming all other cities have things like this, but it's not true.
Yeah. I think we've done okay with marketing it outside. Not as good as Williamsburg because that's a whole different
True.
planet down there, but theatrical situation. But so also, I think in some of the texts that you were sending, there's a 150th something or other coming up.
Oh, yeah. Next
Yeah.
year is going to be a huge year for Kingston's history.
And what is it, Taylor?
It's Kingston's 150th anniversary of being a city. So the merger between Rondout, Wilbur, and the village of Kingston.
Oh,
My math is so bad. What year would it be?
1872.
1872. Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of
So
people...
prior to that, separate. Everyone was
Totally separate. Yeah, Rondout was kind of a thriving port community that was getting tons of immigrants to work on the canal. And
Rondout being downtown Kingston?
Yeah, down
Irish,
the
Italian,
Strand. And they were making way more money. So the village of Kingston sort of took that as a threat and was like, why don't we join forces and we'll just be one big city? And the village of...
people from Rondout agreed?
No, God, no.
I'd love to have been around for that one.
Yeah.
Right? All the discussions.
I thought you were. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Drag
Yes, that is
my
me.
butt
That's
in
me.
on a Monday at 5:30.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate that.
We are very good friends, by the way, and I have great
We are,
respect
we are.
for him. But that will not stop.
When he
Treating you
sees
like
an
a
opening,
lawyer.
he drives a tractor trailer through it, not a little Volkswagen. All right, let's get back to Jillian because you have some things coming up, and then we'll get back to Taylor.
Sure.
Tell us, in between, we're going to take a little break. But so tell us whatever sequence you want to start.
All right, so what makes the most sense? I suppose I'll start with my job. So the Healing Community Study is actually a grant that we received in Ulster County that is dedicated towards opioid prevention. So we've got about $2 million that we received, and we're putting it towards an action plan that we developed with our partners all across Ulster County. So we work with like 90 different folks who are on the ground doing the work, who use their brains to come up with what they know was barriers, gaps in treatment and assisting people. So one of those is a medications for opioid use disorder treatment room for telehealth at the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration. And so basically what that means is...
They've been on the show before,
Yes, good people.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, they have
Keaveney.
so much going on,
Yeah.
and we're just happy to be able to add one more thing.
Yeah.
But basically, they said, well, we're happy to donate a room in our facility if you can help us with technology. So we gave them 2 laptops and some white noise machines, and essentially, if you're a veteran and you're looking to take medications to treat opioid use disorder, or if you're looking to get information on a possibility to recover, such as medications for opioid use disorder, you can call, book the room, you can take your appointment telehealth, so you don't even have to go to the office.
Who do you call, Jillian? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, because you have a personal connection to this work. Can you just mention that, please?
Sure, absolutely. And that will help me actually segue into the next thing I want to talk about is I lost my brother in 2016 due to opioid use disorder, and he was also a veteran with PTSD and a back injury that he was prescribed OxyContin for. So, you know,
So
opioid use
addictive.
disorder, yeah, it takes 5 days to become addicted. And if
So
you have a
addictive.
chronic back injury, it's really not something you should manage pain with. And mental health co-occurring disorders, just not
How
a
old was
pretty
he
picture. He was 30 when he passed.
Did he actually? Did he have a tour in Afghanistan?
Yeah, so he was in
God
Iraq
bless him.
and Afghanistan. And prior to that, he managed to go to South Korea, something we share together. But after he came in, he went back as a contractor, actually. So, which is something a lot of veterans actually do, is when they come home and they can't really find their place as a civilian, they want to go back to the place they thought they didn't want to go back to ever again, because it's the one place where they're understood. And as a young sister at the time, I didn't really see or understand any of that.
How
So-
old were you at the time, and how old was your brother when he passed?
I think I was 23. Yeah, so
And he was?
30.
You did say that. I'm sorry.
So if you are a veteran and you're interested in the MOUD room at the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration, you can contact Gavin Walters, who's managing it. His phone number is 845-481-4695 or gavin.walters@hvcvr.org.
And if somebody does not take this down and they go on the internet and they Google, I can't believe Google is a verb now.
Right?
It's an action verb.
What would they Google in order
Sure.
to get that information?
Yeah, if you just Google HVCVR or Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration, Hudson Valley Center Veteran, Hudson Veterans, it'll come up and you can get
What
the number
about a
on there.
subject like Ulster veterans, Ulster County veterans, something?
Sure, I actually haven't done a search test to find out, but I'm sure it would pop up if you just type in Ulster County Veterans or Kingston Veterans Organization or
Great.
anything along those lines. But you'll know you found it when you see the logo that looks like the maritime directional symbol, because they do wooden boat workshops and stuff. So
really?
water and
And what are some of the things they'll do for vets other than above and beyond the opioid issues?
Sure. So there's plenty of programming. They've got the Vet to Vet program, which actually gave them funding. They got Warrior Writers, which I'm actually facilitator for, where vets can come in and read poetry written by veterans, be inspired, write down their own story, and we work with them on that. They've got the Wooden Boat Workshop, where veterans can build their own kayak. And
it's very impressive.
And it's a long process, and they do it with other vets building their own kayak, so it's good communal experience.
Dr. Ann Marat involved, Dr. Ann from
I don't believe so.
College, SUNY Ulster.
Probably.
Yes, yep.
Richard Catabiani, who's president of the Kingston Rotary Club and also a co-host, retired teacher, professor, Richard.
Yep.
Amazing guy. So that's just a team of great people involved.
Doing
Really
great
is.
work.
Yeah.
So if you don't need the services, you can also donate, which is also greatly appreciated. So
Right.
go right on that website, and you can be connected and make that financial
As many
contribution.
zeros as you can do.
As many zeros.
A number in front of it.
Yes.
So
Numerical.
you're now anticipating something. Why would you possibly do that, Tony? Here I am being innocent again. There is a presumption of innocence in this country. Unbelievable.
That's always
That's
great.
incredible.
Yeah, we've got some great things going on in Kingston and Ulster County, and whether it be our history or human services, veterans, all of that. I'm really proud to be able to live here and do the work that I do and the volunteer work that I do.
Tony and I, we go back to the days of Vietnam and the poor soldiers that returned from Vietnam. The way they were treated is horrendous.
Shame. Yeah,
PTSD, I'm sure everyone goes through it, and especially if you served in Afghanistan or Iraq.
Yeah.
So what a great thing.
The unfortunate thing is that PTSD hasn't really been recognized until, I would say, this era in a way. And even now there's such a huge stigma that people don't want to talk about it. But I know my grandfather in World War II was carrying it. He just didn't say a thing, and he was known as, the guy who didn't talk that much. And
Dad was a frogman in World War II, precursor Navy SEAL, both in the South Pacific and also in Europe. And he was talkative. I'm sure you're shocked that my father could possibly be talking. Yeah.
where'd that come from?
He never said a word to me. Not a word to me about his experiences in World War II.
Touche.
I always wondered when I would be...
Touche. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered when I'd be that kid that got to hear her grandfather's war stories, but he never did.
No.
The only person who he ever told them to was my brother when he said he wanted to join the Army, and he told them to try to discourage him from joining, but he wanted to be just like my grandfather, so he went anyway, knowing what he knew. Don't know what he knew, though.
Must we break now, Tony?
Yeah, I
Because
think we should
there's-
probably do a quick break. Dan's so interested in the conversation.
Very engaging. Thank you so much so far.
Very good, Don.
Yes, and we've got Jillian Nadiak Bruck and Taylor Bruck here with us today. And the stars of the show, of course, are Don Williams and Tony Marmo. It's about 7:30 right now, 7:32 a.m., and you're listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio on AM 920 and 92.5 FM. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 7:33 a.m., Monday, November 21st, and about 45 degrees here in uptown Kingston. We'll be right back after these messages.
Electrical fires can be caused by overloaded circuits or outlets, frayed wires, faulty appliances, or deficient cords. This is Central Hudson reminding you, in the event of an electrical fire, call the fire department and let them know it's an electrical fire. Never use water to put out the flames of an electrical fire, as that may cause serious shock. And use only an approved fire extinguisher. If possible to do so safely, shut off the main breaker. Your safety matters. Central Hudson's mobile app has a new look. It's the place to view and pay bills with ease. Check your electric and gas usage to better manage your energy consumption to save money. And report an outage, anytime, anywhere. Use the app to easily submit your meter reading to avoid estimated bills. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. It's free and easy to use.
This is Nina Poshupak. Once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Roundout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at Cantine Field in Saugerties. Thank you and have a happy Christmas.
And thank you for being with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. 7:35 a.m., and it's 45 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston on a Monday, November 21st. Just a quick look at the weather, and we'll see what... we do have a chance of a morning shower today with considerable cloudiness this morning. Some... less cloudy later on today with a high of 49. Temperatures falling later on today down to 35. Tonight, mostly clear with a low of 27. And Tuesday, sunny skies with a high of 40 degrees. And clear on Tuesday night with a low of 22. Let's get back to the on-air studio. Welcome back, gentlemen and gentlemen and women.
We're back on. This is Marvelous Monday. This is Marvelous Monday. It's amazing.
It's my first Monday, and I thought I was going to be so fortunate that I would.
I wish I took the ibuprofen before I came.
Ibuprofen is not strong enough.
Not enough.
I thought I was escaping Thunder Thursday.
Oh, you got Marvelous Monday now. So this is Tony Marmo.
And Donald Williams.
Yes, and we're happy to have our guests today, Jillian Nadiak-Bruck and Taylor Bruck. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here on very short notice. We appreciate that. So, Taylor, let's get back to Kingston celebrating 150, and you were just telling a little bit about the story bringing the towns together.
Rondout and Kingston.
Yeah. I wonder who did that. Do we know people that said, it was...
Whoever did it, we're probably going to be tearing their statue down.
Right. Good point.
Well,
so, tell us. Do you know?
I know that on the Village of Kingston side, A.T. Clearwater was a big proponent of it, which
A.T. Clearwater, exactly. So you used to see his name frequently in the jury deliberation room for some reason.
Yeah, he was a lawyer in Ulster County for years, and the City of Kingston's first historian, and he was the proponent of naming the city Kingston. Because when Rondout agreed to merge into a city, they said, well, we're going to be the city of Rondout because we have twice the population. We have all this money.
Coulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Rondout had twice the population. That's amazing.
Yeah,
but
it exploded.
Principally because it was on the waterfront.
Yeah, and the D&H Canal finished construction in 1829. So from like 1830 to 1870, every immigrant that was coming to the area was going to the Rondout to work on the D&H Canal. And Uptown was really... banks and lawyers and people that have been here for generations. Yeah. So all the new jobs were being developed downtown. So their population exploded.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. And mainly
Delaware
Irish and Italian.
Irish, Italian.
Pankaki. That's German. Probably part of the history of Pankaki. Or
oh, yeah.
Polish, too, right?
Polish,
White Eagle Hall, a big Polish population. Yeah. So, that's great. So what do you think is going to happen? What kind of celebrations are we going to do?
So we know on May 13th, 2022, we're going to have an event at City Hall that commemorates the merger. The state historian, Devin Lander, is coming down.
Oh, nice.
We're going to have some speakers. We'll be inviting all the past surviving mayors to come. We're hoping Theater on the Road, Frank Marquette's group, is going to do a little reenactment of the debate between Rondout and Kingston.
See, that would be interesting.
Yes.
What day is this, or is it going to be a period?
It's a Friday night. So this one event is May 13th, after 5. During the day, we're actually burying a time capsule in collaboration with Kingston City School Districts. So we're hoping that students, we're just putting out a call to teachers probably in the next week or two for a spring project.
What are we putting in that thing? I just can't remember.
So our record.
I remember doing that back in the day.
Sure.
But
that's what someone said. They were like, are we just going to get Roblox jokes and stuff? Like, is anyone going to know what this means 150 years from now?
What are we going to put in there?
So our suggestion, we were hoping that the younger kids could do something like writing letters to future people in the year 2172. That's when this will be opened, 150 years after the 150th. So either writing letters to people from the future or predicting what it will be like, but we're asking the high school kids to write about what their experience was like going to school through the pandemic, because we're hoping that 150 years from
put a
now,
couple of masks in there. I know.
yeah, something like some of the swabs for the tests.
Right.
Because honestly, when the 1918 pandemic happened in Kingston, there's no info on that. There's a couple newspaper articles.
Was that the Spanish flu? What
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were doing research when COVID happened, what was it like during 1918 and that, and
And there's nothing.
there's very little, but that's why we're gonna reach out to high school kids and be like, write about this and tell people what happened, what it was like, the weird toilet paper thing early on, and yeah.
Oh, the staples in life.
The weird
Right.
toilet paper thing of 2020.
Exactly.
Those time capsules, to me, I don't know, how do you know if they work, in terms of opening up and you just have a bunch of dust in there, 100 years from
Well,
now,
it's
paper
vacuum.
is
Acid-free
luckily-
foam.
Hermetically sealed.
So I'm an archivist, and the
Yeah.
first thing I said was, we are not burying this in the ground.
Right,
Because
exactly.
there's no way to keep it dry, really.
Exactly. Moisture gets in there.
The only thing that I've heard that actually works is thermoses. But they're small, and we
Yeah.
want all these kids to participate. So there's actually a secret door in City Hall that hasn't been.
I've used it several times.
To escape.
So we're gonna open that secret door for the first time in 60 years.
How cool will that
And
be?
hopefully it's just a closet or something. And
Maybe
Some
maybe
skeleton in
That's
there.
something, right? Yeah.
All right, yeah.
wasn't there a TV show that they opened the
Yeah,
tombs
Al
of
Capone's
Al Capone's
tomb.
tomb,
Yeah.
and there was nothing in it.
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geraldo, I think.
I was going to
I
say it's
think it was
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo, yeah.
So strange that he would be seeking some type of publicity. It's
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
so
amazing.
unlike Geraldo.
Amazing.
That's exciting.
Taylor, if you said that thermoses work, one company that makes good sizable ones, of course, is Yeti, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if those cases, those carry-arounds with the big
Right.
handle and might be sealed enough.
You might have to
Probably.
You might have to ask
Yeah.
for a grant to
No, but-
pay for a Yeti cooler.
But if you think about it, you're talking 100 years, right? So those
150,
things
yeah.
May keep ice cold for a month, but that's, I'm sure, over time. I don't know.
You can really just never be sure. So at least if we put it in a building,
Yeah, put it in a building
in a
somewhere.
fireproof
Yeah.
safe.
How do they preserve documents, for example, in Washington that go all the way back? They must be in dehumidified rooms?
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
think so.
vaguely humidified rooms, around 50%, 45 to 50%, and then temperature, pretty much room temperature, 60,
Really?
I mean, ask the
65.
folks at Iron Mountain, don't they? They keep all kinds of.
I'll get them on the
archives.
cell phone as soon
Let's
as I
call
get back
them.
to the
We should
car.
have them as guests the next Monday that we're on.
It's actually not
I'm sorry.
Iron Mountain, folks.
I think I'm washing my hair that Monday morning. And
That shouldn't
do
take
not,
long.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't possibly think it would be a quick wash. Takes me 20 minutes to blow dry every hair.
Oh man, there's a lot of material there. We won't go there. All right, let's get back to Jillian. Oh, having too much fun on a Monday. This is great. Okay,
this
let's
is just
let's
some
talk
of the
about
most
documentary.
fun I've had since,
On a Monday morning.
since the Hawks took my little brother. But
Okay. Oh my God. Is that the Atlanta Hawks? Or?
I was going to say, since the Hawks beat the Knicks, I thought you hated the Knicks.
I'd love to
like
read
the
a
Knicks.
short story written by you. Come
Oh
on.
yeah, no such thing as a short story. That is an oxymoron. So
what did you call me?
I'm sorry, folks. We're having a lot of fun today.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the documentary.
Now to go into a somber topic.
We need that. We need that.
Yeah, so a documentary that I sat down for about 2 years ago was just released on Amazon Prime and iTunes. Amazon, you can rent it. iTunes, you can purchase it for $12.99. But it is called PTSD, The Walking Wounded. So if you Google that, it should come right up as well. It's very interesting to see, Rotten Tomatoes. There's people, putting reviews in now.
Already?
So it's whoa, this is actually a real thing that I participated in. And it covers the stories of my brother, which I am the one delivering, and then 2 other veterans who have made it through their struggles, and they all have very similar stories. So it's very interesting to see 2 veterans talking about what they've been through, how they've come out on top, and how they still work with it every single day. And it's sort of underlined by my brother's story, which kind of reflects on what happens when someone doesn't find the help that's so desperately needed. And it was a very interesting experience for me because I sat down, I talked, I knew the 2 veterans involved, and yet when I sat down to watch it, it was like a therapeutic moment and very cathartic in a way I didn't expect, because I heard things from myself that I needed to hear. I'm so used to the business approach. Like right now, I'm telling you all about my brother and all these lessons to learn. But when I heard it back, it was like very sort of life-changing in a way.
It is cathartic.
Yeah.
When victims that would appear in front of me and got to speak its sentence. Extremely cathartic. Very difficult to do.
It's an hour and 39 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's just, I can't recommend it enough. I know that I'm in it, so it's a weird thing to say, but I really do feel like everyone should watch it, whether you are a veteran yourself, you're a family member of a veteran, or just a general civilian. I think it's 1% of our population chooses to go and serve. So if you're not impacted by it, you're not impacted by it. It has no impact on your life other than the fact that you're here and you have your freedom. So I think it's a civilian's duty to be aware of what's going on in our veterans' lives. And yeah.
Do you find that people your age and younger can appreciate this? Being so far, you are not, but being so far removed from the real, I know it's an overused term, but the real sacrifices that people that came before us actually experienced. When I try to talk to people about that, sometimes younger people, it seems to be lost on.
Yeah, which I find interesting because I was in 4th grade when 9/11 happened, so I don't feel so far removed, and I feel like even if my brother didn't serve, I would still understand the impact of a terrorist attack. So I think that anyone could benefit from watching this film, and I feel like you can't sit down and watch it and walk away not feeling something and some sort of connection. So in a way, but it's like, how do you get butts in the seats? So I don't know if...
What about, have you reached, all about this, I know nothing, but have you reached out to the local school boards
Not
to see if
yet.
it can be... Boy, obviously it has to be an age that is not a young kid.
Yeah. Like high schoolers, I think it would be a great
Absolutely.
demographic.
It would be.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it this week. I have Amazon Prime. I can get it on Amazon Prime?
Yeah. It's not free under Amazon Prime, but it's like $3.99 to rent, so you're good to go.
Well, I'll take out a second
Gallon of
mortgage.
gas for you or less.
Don't bring up.
Yes, I know.
This is all.
So,
I'm going to watch it this week.
Who else is in this other than you, obviously? But
Sure.
Just take us through a little bit of it.
Sure. So David Lionheart, the founder of Play for Your Freedom, is the one who sort of made this all happen. And he speaks about the work that he does with his organization, which is an organization that gets veterans out and like playing on the field and out of their head for a moment. And same thing as the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Reintegration. It's all about camaraderie. Matthew Godomsky is in it. He is from Delaware, but I believe he's a former Kingston high school student. And he speaks about his time in school. And Gio, I can't recall his last name, but Gio is also from Kingston High School. Doesn't live here anymore, but both joined right out of high school. One is, I believe one is a Marine, or they're both Army. And, they talk about their experiences, both pretty different experiences, but both under the same umbrella of being in Afghanistan. Everyone has their unique experience, but everyone has the same situational umbrella sort of over them. And I'll be the first person to say that my family thought my brother was in the Disneyland of Afghanistan is what they called it. He was in a building working on computers, not like on the front lines or anything, but that doesn't stop you from hearing mortars going over your head every single day, wondering if it's going to hit your building next. It doesn't stop you from having side quests, if you want to call that, where the one thing he told me about his service was that one day he was asked to man the door of a hospital. What are the things he saw?
Yeah.
So, but we just, he seemed okay, so we took all those things for granted. But veterans are trained to be the most strong individuals in our country. And for them to come home and say that they have anything that they're suffering from is, quotes, air quotes, a sign of weakness. But it's not. It is not a sign of weakness at all. And I highly encourage anyone who might be experiencing any kind of feelings like that to talk to somebody, whether it's a friend, a parent, or someone at the center, or get involved with another organization.
It really is an indicator of strength
Yes.
to do that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Seek help. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully it gets a wide distribution and certainly beyond Ulster County even, right? That's
Absolutely.
The whole point is
I think it can be a teaching tool for those.
I would love to see it in schools. I don't
Yes.
know what you can do. I'm out of touch with many of the people that I used to work closely when I was DA, or I would do something for you, but to see that in schools and to have kids at the high school level watch it would be a tremendous
some of the
benefit.
metropolitan, news outlets will pick it up. They're
Yeah.
kind of good in New
Maybe
York City.
Fox.
Hope so.
I'm not sure CNN would, but
Probably
Fox
not.
would.
Talk about the performance coming up on December 5th, I think is what you said, right?
Yes. So I was waiting for some details, exact details, but I didn't get them. But it is December 5th in Saugerties.
Okay.
I'm sure if you Google it, maybe something will come up. I was Googling it, nothing was. But it's through Hope Rocks, which is a very established organization that encourages people to seek recovery when they're experiencing substance use disorder. And they're very big in music, and there's going to be a festival coming up at 1 p.m. Sheila D. and the Dazzlers is going to be playing, and that's the group that I'm in. I am a Dazzler. I'm not Sheila D. But I often joke with Sheila that I will be doing a cover band soon where I will be the lead singer, and she can be backup, and we'll have the same band behind us playing the music.
Where is it going to be held?
So the exact location, that's why I was like, I don't know. I don't have it yet, but it's going to be in Saugerties.
Okay.
Someone should reach out to Bob Syracusano and Greg Chorvis and have them promote it, because those two are machines.
Sure.
In terms of getting folks
That's a great idea.
out
They-
to, so.
Once I get that final information, I will be pushing it
Yeah,
out.
let me know. I can put you in touch with Bob, and if anything
He's
happens in
great. They're great.
Saugerties
They are great.
of a positive nature, he's all over it.
Yeah, I
And
feel like
so,
he should probably already know about it, but when
yeah.
I Googled it, I was surprised nothing came up. So,
yeah.
But it's going to be like a shopping and music festival. So if you're in Saugerties, you'll probably stumble across it.
Now, are you two living in Kingston, or where are you? Mm-hmm. So the commute is pretty short.
Oh yeah, we bought my grandma's house.
Oh, nice.
We're right across from Hutton
I was about
Park.
to say, if you bought a house in Kingston recently, God bless you, because
3 years ago.
well,
Right before
but
the
Perfect
wave.
timing.
Yeah, that was good. Right before the
Yeah.
craziness took off, and the Bruck name has been around for quite some time in Kingston, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
any relation to the Brucks that had a funeral parlor?
Yes, Uncle Jack.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
There are two Bruck families in
oh, there
town,
are
actually.
not related.
Not related. Well, I mean,
Oh,
if you
so
go back
maybe-
far
maybe-
enough,
maybe,
probably.
yeah.
But yeah, there's the funeral home Brucks and then the other Brucks. I am the funeral home Brucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I know.
Is it Dutch? What's the origin of Bruck?
Austrian.
Austrian.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably
Like Innsbruck.
yeah, like you grew up by a brook, or they grew up by a stream.
At some point, yeah, right.
That's absolutely a great analogy, Tony.
Could be
That's how it goes.
Tanner or a Smith or a, or a Marmo, right? Marmo.
Where are you going with this?
No, I love the origin of names. It's
Well,
it's
my
a little,
my
yeah,
deceased wife's maiden name was Brett Schneider.
Brett Schneider.
Apparently, that means board maker.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense. Marmo.
Williams. I don't know what Williams meant. No, I do.
No.
I'm not going to release it.
No, it's usually either you do really. It's
No,
either
I don't.
it's either familial, right? It's some son of, like Johnson.
Oh.
Oh.
Or having to do with, and this is probably
I was
you
about
know
to
more
say.
than this than I do.
Come on, you're the historian.
Your profession, like Marmo, we were marble workers, stonemasons. The Marmos, we like to,
Name 10 Italians that aren't.
right. The Marmos were specifically marble workers.
Wow.
That's what we did. That's
And the
Marmo.
best in the world.
And then the third is geographic, right?
And something that I never really thought about until a few months ago when we were doing some genealogy for a customer, all the names that start with like Van and Von, that means from.
Yeah.
So
really?
So like Van.
Geographic.
Yeah, but what I never thought of was that they didn't have that last name until they left. So like Van Etten is like from Etten. When they still lived in Etten, they had a totally different last name.
There was something different, right?
There was some, yeah, because Etten's the name
Right,
of the location they were from.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your family genealogy, once you get back to the motherland, you have a totally different family you're finding, and finding that switch is extremely hard.
What would you recommend in all of the different things that are available now if you want to trace your history, your genealogy? What do you think is best?
Ancestry is a great place to start.
Okay.
They have a free version of their account, and a lot of people have done a lot of the work already. You'll be surprised how many family members in other states and stuff have started your line once you get back to a certain point. There's also a site called Family Search.
Family Search. Okay.
.org. Yes, that the Church of Latter-day Saints owned that one, and they scanned millions and millions of documents. They have like all of our old deed books, mortgage books, wills. Yeah, basically in the 70s and maybe even into the 80s, they went to all these local municipalities and said, we'll microfilm all your documents if we can keep a copy. And most of the places said, well, that sounds great. Sure, why not?
What would their interest be in doing that, I wonder?
You know,
Now I've got the conspiracy theories.
That's the real
that's
question.
a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure somebody does. I don't. I've Googled it and read about it. Like, why did they do this? And it's like, oh, well, they're big fans of genealogy, and like, okay, whatever. But most of these municipalities were like, that's kind of hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Go ahead. They're public documents.
They were doing that for how long?
Like 10, 15 years. They might still be doing it, just not really in New York.
And the site again is?
FamilySearch.org.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can actually find all the wills and everything right on there.
It's frightening also. Just you're always worried about what you might find out about.
Well, I'm going to tell you what your background is. It's a Welsh name. Williams is patronymic.
My dad was Welsh.
Surname
and
derived
Irish.
from the personal name William, which is in turn derived from the old German names Wilhelm and Willem, the Norman French version of, how that's said in French, I have no idea. Guill, Guillaume, something, I don't know how to say that.
I feel like you're close.
Okay, thanks. Following the Norman Conquest.
None of us speak any French.
Following Norman Conquest, 1066, William became the most popular name.
William the Conqueror.
Exactly, in Britain. So you're, it's...
The Welsh are like strong people.
I forgot to talk about one really exciting thing that we're doing next year.
We got
really quick.
3 minutes left, so excite us.
Kingston is starting a vintage baseball team.
Oh, yes! Holy cannoli, I
How
forgot
could
that.
we
You
forget?
mentioned that in your text.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
We just put the social medias up today.
Feel the Dream stuff.
Yeah, we're called
Very
the Kingston Guards. We're playing by 1890s rules. There's an association called the Vintage Baseball
How cool is
Association.
that?
Yeah, so there's some teams in Delaware County and Greene County. They needed one more team for their league, and Kingston has a really rich baseball history, so we're in.
It truly does.
Yeah.
Gloves. What's the glove?
No gloves.
No gloves. It's
No gloves.
No gloves. And what's the ball has got to be a little bit...
It's about the same size, but it's squishier. It's the lemon ball.
I would hope so.
So it doesn't go very far. You're not going to hit many home
So
runs.
what era would it be?
1890s.
Wow.
1880s, 1890s. Yeah. And yeah,
Do you
Kingston.
play?
Catcher's
Yeah.
gear.
Good for you.
I'm in.
Catcher's gear? No.
Traditionally, no, but for insurance purposes, yes. We bend the rules a little bit
And
to
bats, obviously,
wooden.
aluminum.
It is a squishy ball.
It's a
So.
squishy ball. It's just
Yeah.
probably a piece of oak off a tree. The tree that fell in my driveway this morning, I could cut that up and make a bat out of it.
What is
Right.
what is the wood that they typically use?
Ash.
Ash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
150 years from now, radio hosts are going to be talking about us the way we're talking about them. Probably just a chunk of tree.
I'm afraid that next year they're not going to be talking
Yeah,
about
I
us.
think it'll be a distant memory not too long ago.
So that's great.
Julian-
When are you guys playing? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When do you guys start
Our first game will be the day after the May 13th event for the 150th.
Cool.
It'll be Saturday,
And uniforms
May
have to be
14th.
cool?
Uniforms are going to be super cool.
Where are you going to get the uniforms? Somebody make them?
We're getting them custom made. We're still looking for a few more players if anyone's interested. We
can't do a sit-up anymore. I used to play
Oh, come on.
shortstop, but
Well, we're also looking for umpires, potentially.
Wow. You could do an umpire.
only if you have lawyers
Taylor,
on the
does
team.
the,
Wear a mask.
What's that?
Taylor,
would have
does the ballpark need to be modified in any way?
No, they
The
actually
park itself?
recommend that there is just a field.
Yeah.
Oh, just a field.
Yeah, it actually
Okay.
works
All right,
better
so-
if there's not base paths and fences.
Okay, so you're
But
not going to be using a mound and all that kind of thing.
No.
Okay.
Oh, man.
all right.
Some places we do just depending on the location, but traditionally
I don't
just
think there
a
was
field.
mound
No.
at the beginning.
No
Right.
mound.
No advantage.
No
for the
base
pitcher.
no base paths.
Yeah. Interesting.
That would be interesting, sure.
Yeah. 90 feet.
I think so, yeah.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
90 feet. Yeah. Interesting. That'll be cool. That'll be worth the watch for
Yeah,
sure.
it'll be a fun time. So come
So
to our
what's it-
first game.
We have to split already. Oh man, you kidding me? All right. Well, 8:00. Jillian Nadiak Brooke, thank you for being here. Good luck with your book. Good luck with your dazzling performances. Whatever your documentary.
Maribella's Partition Street in Saugerties.
There
I
you
just
go.
got the
There you
information. December
What is
5th.
that?
There you go.
Brooke, thank you. When we get closer, please come back. We want to
Absolutely.
talk more about the 150
That'd be great.
for
Yeah.
Kingston and really good. Thank you so much, both. You're delightful. It's great to. I feel like the young folks in this world are ready to go, man. These two,
Well, if they're
Two
all
are
like
amazing.
these two.
I'm in.
So
We're working on the rest of them.
Yeah, work on the rest.
Trying to get them in.
All right, thank you. Be well. Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you.
to
Yeah, happy
both.
Thanksgiving.
You
nice
too.
meeting you again. I'm sure
Yes.
I did run.
Dan, take it away, please.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much. Don Williams and Tony Marmo being the stars of the show today. And a very, very special thanks to Taylor Brooke and Jillian Nadiak Brooke for coming in today and being our guests from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. The time is now 8:01 a.m., Monday, November 22nd. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Central Hudson. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Electrical fires can be caused by overloaded circuits or outlets, frayed wires, faulty appliances, or deficient cords. This is Central Hudson reminding you, in the event of an electrical fire, call the fire department and let them know it's an electrical fire. Never use water to put out the flames of an electrical fire, as that may cause serious shock. And use only an approved fire extinguisher. If possible to do so safely, shut off the main breaker. Your safety matters. Central Hudson's mobile app has a new look. It's the place to view and pay bills with ease. Check your electric and gas usage to better manage your energy consumption to save money. And report an outage, anytime, anywhere. Use the app to easily submit your meter reading to avoid estimated bills. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play. It's free and easy to use.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute? When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can. But it's just as important to take time for yourself. AARP can help. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Cameron Rylands. Many families in our area will not have a happy holiday, and the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund will help them. We are asking for your contribution to purchase children's clothes, toys, and food for seniors. You can drop off your contribution at the Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street in Kingston. Thank you.
And you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. My name is Dan Gatus, and it is 8:04 a.m. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Herzog's Home and Paint Center in the Kingston Plaza. Use them for all of your home building, maintenance, and painting needs, and discover the difference of buying local. Sales are ongoing at their website, herzogs.com. Little chance of a morning shower this morning and some decrease in clouds later in the day. A morning high of 49 with temperatures actually falling during the day to near 35. And then tonight it's mostly clear with a low of 27. Tuesday, sunny skies, high around 40 degrees. And Tuesday night, clear, a low down to 22. Getting down to that killing frost territory. Wednesday, sunny or high around 45, and Wednesday night, a few clouds, a low near 25. And let's get back to the on-air studio. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is also brought to you by Sawyer Motors. And Sawyer Motors with Bob Circasano and the whole Sawyer Motors team is on 166 Ulster Avenue in Saugerties, 12477. Go visit them and find out what you can have next in your cars. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM. And it's Monday, November 22nd, and 45 degrees right now. And let's get back to the on-air studio with Tony Marmo and our new guest.
Okay, Dan, thanks so much, folks. Okay, we're back. This is, we're calling it Marvelous Monday, only because it's not Medical Monday. We're pinch hitting for Dr. Ed Alio. This is Tony Marmo, and I'm joined by the inimitable Donald Williams.
I might have to Google that up to see exactly what it means tonight, Tony.
Can't spell it, and I can hardly say it.
Non-imitatable.
There you go.
That's what it means.
Non-imitatable. There we go.
Original
and this half-hour segment, we're joined by our good friend Ken Cooper. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, gentlemen.
How are you doing?
How are you? It's been many years.
Excellent. Judge Williams, it's a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure to see anybody, isn't it? We have to do a quick happy birthday, even though we don't have...
yeah, this was hot off the press. It just came in this morning. Yeah.
Mel Torme or...
No, Vivian Torme, but
Exactly.
It could be Mel Torme. Vivian Torme is 2 today.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Vivian. 2 is such a cool age.
I'm sure she will love the cow pie.
Well, congratulations, Vivian. 2 is very cool and special, and I'm sure you're a little blessing to your family. So thank you, whomever, for sending it in. Ken Cooper, how are you today?
I'm fine. Thank you for the invite to discuss whatever you want to discuss.
Did you get the call last night, Ken?
You got the call too?
I've never been here on a Monday.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Mr. Marmo calls, you respond.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We had a delightful dinner in Hyde Park.
Oh, we did, absolutely.
Saturday night. And,
Where did you eat?
It's called the Cranberry Cafe in Hyde Park, and it's a lovely little place with a owner chef deal, Joanne and her husband, and they cook and they have a wine presentation.
Wine
Marta
pairing.
Candell does the wines.
Really?
Wine and food pairing. It was great.
Yeah,
You're becoming quite the sophisticated. I knew Ken.
Kenny,
being a restaurateur.
He asked
in the
Leanne and I to
house.
show up. Maybe next month we'll give you a tinkle and say.
Please don't give me a tinkle.
How about
Call me,
how
text
about
me,
a
don't
jingle?
tinkle me. A jingle would be...
A jingle would be better than a tinkle.
That makes me feel so much better.
way too much fun in this radio station.
You haven't listened.
If it feels warm, then oh man.
Oh,
I don't think I'm going to be invited back to Mondays, Dan. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're
Maybe.
Suddenly-
by popular demand.
Suddenly, radiation treatment sounds so much better.
Well, let's get to it. Ken, a little bit of background on yourself in terms of, you grew up where and you've done what with your illustrious career. Just a little background so people know who you are.
Yeah, so I grew up in Sullivan County,
Wow.
the land of prisons.
Yeah.
And,
It certainly is.
it's still, and now it's grown. So
Yeah.
And I went up to Albany because they wouldn't let me go to Bard College. They said I was too stupid. So I went to Albany State, and then I got a job at Bard.
Yeah, right.
Years. So they were paying me to be there.
It's a lot easier to afford Bard if you're employed there rather than trying to
Right.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place.
Well, prior to Bard, you were an owner, restaurant owner, entrepreneur.
Some listeners may remember Sherlock's. I know
Chris Sesh.
Chris Sesh.
I remember
Ugly
it
Gus,
fondly.
Yeah.
It was across the street from the Ulster County Courthouse. And
Who worked there? Let me think.
and I can recall I'm partaking occasionally.
Yes, we sold medicine for a lot of the attorneys and especially the DAs and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And if you were within distance, you could crawl home. It was
Right, walking distance is probably the best.
Yes, living in Uptown Kingston. But Sherlock's was a great play. Your partners at the time, Chris Sesh.
Chris Sesh, yeah.
There's one other, was there not?
Well, the Ed Manassian was originally.
Ed Manassian, who
Eddie was a wonderful man.
Great man.
Built like a brick.
Armenian. He used to own Manassian's grocery store. I used to shop there when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
He was a wonderful man.
Great man.
So, it was fun. A fun time.
Good.
Thank God I was only 17 when I owned it.
How old were you? Yeah, how old were you? We won't say when you owned it.
You know, I think I was in my 40s? Early 30s.
30s probably. 30s would be.
Great place. Good place.
Yeah. Long time ago in a land far, far away. Subsequently, you to Bard, and even before Bard, you started doing expert testimony for use of force, and you also have a tactical handgun training school.
I teach people how to kill. That's correct. I'm just.
You teach people how proper.
Oh, thank you.
Proper utilization of self-defense.
People have chosen to do that. Yeah, I'm joking a little bit, but it's incredibly serious. And I just spent hours and hours watching the trial that was recent in Wisconsin.
So did I.
The Rittenhouse trial,
of course,
right?
Our prayers go out to the people in Wisconsin that were just murdered.
Yeah.
And hurt by that maniac, whatever that's going to turn out to be.
That sounds like I'm listening to MSNBC. So I was about to ask you, do you have an opinion about what occurred there? And it appears you do.
Well, in the recent yesterday's tragedy, but Rittenhouse, Rittenhouse.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
Rittenhouse. No.
You're talking about the SUV that plowed through.
Killed, right? Was it 4 or 5 people?
Yeah, yesterday, 5 so far is what they said.
And
40 people injured, yeah.
I don't believe they're releasing any information about what the motivation was or anything. They have a suspect that I believe he is incarcerated, but they're calling him a person of interest.
Yeah, well.
Wow, who invented that term?
Anyway. So what was that scenario? I didn't really see much
Christmas,
of it.
It was a Christmas parade.
Oh, Christmas parade, right.
Yeah, but it's one of the terrorist methods is to drive through people and kill them.
Right.
And it's exactly what happened, whether it's international terrorism, domestic.
So
or
struck by a vehicle, not a weapon.
An SUV.
An SUV.
One of the most horrible things on video I saw was this little girl on the road, and the car just missed her. It's like, oh my God, this is horrific stuff. But,
where was this, in Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Wisconsin, what, 50 miles away from where?
Waukesha, Wisconsin. So, 60 miles from. Wow. Yeah, but the Rittenhouse trial was interesting. I have all my use of force instructors watch it because we need to analyze it for our students.
That's great. What a great example. And it appears, although I'm not intimate with the self-defense or justification laws in Wisconsin, it appears from part of the trial that I was watching, it's comparable, very similar to what New York states are.
All states have very similar even terminologies and things like that.
Well, it appears in Georgia that it is an affirmative defense rather than just a defense, and that makes a huge difference. The difference being justification of self-defense as a defense means the defendant simply has to raise it in some fashion. And then it is the burden of the prosecution to disprove self-defense beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, which is probably...
It appears in Georgia, and I only caught the other trial that's occurring in Georgia. It appears that there it is an affirmative defense. It must be proven by the defendant. And people may not understand the nuances between the two, but it's hugely different.
Huge. Would you agree there's 2 types of defenses in the world? One of them is the Bart Simpson defense. You ever watch The Simpsons?
Bart Simpson?
Yeah. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. You can't prove it. And the other one would be in affirmative defense. Yeah, I did it, but.
Yeah.
There is a third defense
Yeah.
that is rare. I'm not going to be facetious about, but there's a third defense that's rarely used. But it is basically saying that regardless of guilt, and even though I do not have a legal defense, the jury should be so offended by the law that the jurors should acquit the defendant.
Wow.
I've seen that utilized once.
It's
It's called jury nullification.
Yeah, the O.J. Simpson trial is a good example of that.
O.J. Simpson is in part jury nullification.
I was involved in, as you probably know, the Amadou Diallo case. That was my one case.
I did not know that.
really?
And I followed that. I was acting as a commentator
really?
for WTZA about it. It's when I was an assistant DA or DA, I don't recall. But and
Yeah, I
Tony
mentioned
that,
it.
and I
Yeah.
said I did not know that.
Yeah.
And one of the commentators was Frank Serpico. Frank's a good friend of mine, and he's on the other side of that. And he's on court TV as I'm walking with the defendants into the courtroom, and I'm making all sorts of comments, yelling at him when he's. I could be like that, But,
Yeah.
Yes, we do know that.
yeah. But
We were talking earlier about I'll say a civilian about this is not my profession, but I kind of liked the way the judge comported himself in the sense that he was putting the attorneys kind of in their place. Saying basically you don't even know the elements of the law here. It was this is like a constitutional.
I think it was beyond that. The judge, as dealing with the prosecution.
Yeah.
It went beyond saying you don't know the law. It's far worse. He was saying you know the law and you know better.
Yeah,
And,
you're right.
The two circumstances that I saw, one, and I had a prosecutor, I will not mention her name, that did the same thing in cross-examining a defendant, tried to bring out that the defendant had invoked his right to counsel, which you cannot do. It is grounds for mistrial. I mean, the case could be thrown out.
Yeah.
And the second thing was the judge had made a ruling before the trial started, not allowing certain evidence or certain facts about the defendant because and a proper ruling, whether you agree with it or not, it was a proper legal ruling. And during the course of cross-examination, the prosecuting attorney then began to explore some of those facts that the judge had said previously you cannot do. And under the argument that the defendant opened the door, basically what that means is the defendant was bringing affirmatively in front of the jury some of the own facts that the judge had suppressed, that had precluded. And you can do that. It happens frequently that a ruling will occur that certain facts or evidence cannot be brought out on the defendant, and then the defendant takes the stand and to some respect to help their case bring part of it out, which is grossly unfair. But before any prosecutor can then start to cross-examine that individual, he has to make or she have to make an application to the judge when the jury's not present saying, I believe the defendant just opened the door that should cause you to change a ruling. He didn't do that. So here he just started going into it on his own, which can be horribly prejudicial to the case, and it violates the court order. And this assistant DA was supposed to be an experienced assistant DA that had appeared previously in front of this judge. So it was inexcusable conduct.
Yeah, it's interesting. You as a judge, and one of the best judges we ever had in the county, by the way.
Thank you very much,
You
Ken.
are, and you, besides being a dear friend, but
He's buying you lunch today too.
I am not.
Oh, sorry.
but it must have driven you. I mean, for me, because I've been in front. I've testified in over 100 cases, and I've seen some great jurists that were just incredible, and some really bad attorneys. That
it's unfortunate. I don't want to get into this.
Right? Every
We don't
profession.
want to get into a situation where we badmouth attorneys, because trying a felony as a prosecutor or a defense may be, next to brain surgery, may be the most difficult thing that any professional can do. It is incredibly complicated. It is so stressful for both sides. And the individuals that do take it so seriously that you don't sleep at night, those individuals should be applauded. The problem, Ken, as you know, is that it's not that terribly frequent that the attorneys that appear on these serious cases rise to the level of that standard. It's unfortunate.
And it's unfair, too, because I agree with you. Even some of my best friends are attorneys. Jay Samoff was one of them, right? He won a case in the United States Supreme Court.
Jay's good.
A fantastic attorney for what he did, not criminal law. But, I've done cases where the judge in the Diallo case, for instance, I always wanted to meet him, and I was always in the back of the courtroom.
Was that from Albany County? Was that Judge Harris?
No.
Judge...
I just forgot his name.
Oh.
But I finally met him.
He was from Albany County.
Yeah.
I know him well. I can't remember. He did a great job.
I remember his name in a second. I just blew it because his son called me. I didn't know it was his son. I get these calls from attorneys all the time, pro bono, could you help this guy? And then he mentioned his name, and I said, is your father, was he the judge in the Diallo case? He said, yeah. So I had to take the case. And it was an interesting case, and this guy was an incredible attorney, defending an inmate who was accused of injuring a corrections officer from a special team, actually ripping his bicep, which was absolute baloney. And it's an interesting case. I don't want to talk too much about it because it was decided, but still. So the judge said he calls me up and says, we won. I'm driving back. It was in the middle of the winter, and I'm driving back from all the way upstate. And he said, we won. And I said, you want to know what the judge said? He said, no. He said, where'd you get that guy? He told him a story about. I told him a story about you and my father. He said, give him $1,000.
Nice. I was talking earlier about whether the TV cameras influence in any way, shape, or form, how people conduct themselves, whether it's the judge, whether it's the attorneys. I would hope not, but it's since the OJ trial, right? Is that probably the most publicized?
Probably. That was just a disaster.
I'm glad you brought up not so much the TV cameras. I know you're talking about in the courtroom, but I deal with my students. I tell everybody, you're on video. You don't even know when you're on video. Like everybody's got the videos in their cell phones and stuff, and it's two-dimensional. So when you're in court, and the video that was with Rittenhouse, it's one of the few times I really think that the video really helped that case and helped him.
Oh, the video of the events that happened, you mean?
Yeah. So that was
video of him walking around.
Usually, I'm an expert witness, right?
Yeah.
All I do is put meat on the bone, give it a third dimension for the, I know more than, let's say, the average person about a subject, and kind of fill it in. But two dimensions is, and that's what you're looking at. That TV screen, it's hard to understand what you're really seeing. And even eyewitnesses don't understand what they're seeing. And
typically, eyewitnesses, their testimony is inaccurate in some respect.
They're high stress.
Sure.
And then all these other things happen. So in that case, with video, it was really interesting. Besides the courtroom stuff, that's another issue, right? I don't know if you had courtroom. You never had cameras in your courtroom here.
Oh yes, frequently.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Frequently, yeah. I always, if they made the request, I allowed them in, but I controlled it. There was one television camera that
Stationary.
had to pull in the back of the courtroom, not up in the.
You're right.
Right up in the front. During the Rittenhouse case, I saw people taking pictures from the front.
Yeah, see, that gets...
And the jurors can never be photographed.
Yeah.
Victims only if the victim agrees to it.
Well, the MSNBC, I think.
Oh, MSNBC is. But it's brutal. However, you have to control it. Yeah. And I found even the New York City media that came up, and in fact, the dentist Nunez that was tried, Dateline came up, and also another time they did a whole thing on it. But it was one camera back of the courtroom, not terribly visible to the jury or to the lawyers who would be playing up to it if they saw it. So it worked under those circumstances.
So the videos from the Rittenhouse, at the scene, what was going on, those were from where? Where did those cameras, were they just in the city streets or something? Or, how
somebody was flying a drone over the
There was a
riots.
drone, but on top of that, what was extremely beneficial to the defense was a cell phone image and also, I think, a body cam that was being taken by conservative bloggist.
Oh, yes, right.
And
somebody that was archiving the situation or whatever.
Correct. His videos, I think, coupled with the drone, were so clear and revealing in this case. And he took the stand and was cross-examined about his potential bias, but the videos were so revealing.
They're compelling, but, maybe you can just discuss this. Subjective and objective, the two words that people, I deal with people want to get firearms for self-protection and other reasons as well. But, what you think, that's fine, and you act. But objectively, is that right? What is the jury going to say? What is this? And Rittenhouse said, I thought I was going to be killed. Right. And now now prove it, the justification, So affirmative defense, I did the thing, and this is why I did it, It
is one of the most confusing and potentially logically inconsistent parts of the criminal justice system justification. Again, New York State seems to be very comparable to Wisconsin. There are two prongs to what is commonly referred to as self-defense. The first is, and the prosecution has to disprove this beyond a reasonable doubt, but the first prong is the individual must subjectively, in their own mind, honestly believe that deadly physical force or serious physical injury is imminently about to be used upon them. So the first part is subjective. Did that person honestly believe they were about to be killed or maimed or seriously injured? The second part is the objective standard, which is assuming you believe that individual did subjectively believe that this was going to happen, would a reasonable person under the same circumstances have the same belief? That's the objective prong. So both prongs have to be present. At least the defendant has to raise both prongs, and then the prosecution has to disprove both beyond a reasonable doubt.
It's a great explanation, but this is where education is critical. If you're going to carry a gun on the streets, like the one I'm wearing right now,
right?
Am I familiar with my New York State laws, let alone any place else, but my New York State laws? Do I know when it's objectively reasonable to deploy the firearm? And then where's a safe place to shoot a gun? I ask all my students, where's a safe place to shoot a gun? And they say, well, range. Well, I was almost killed on the range. I have it on video, so thank God. So there's no safe place to shoot a gun. So you're carrying a gun in public. It's what we call a target-rich environment. What do you know about the law? Have you been in the military? No. Law enforcement? No. Ever been threatened with deadly force? No. But you got a 10 or 11 round gun on your hip, and now somebody you think is threatening you or your family, and you're going to deploy the gun on the city streets of Kingston on Wall Street, near where my restaurant was, across from the courthouse, and potentially use that gun.
How do people find out about your services in terms of if they want to learn how to safely get involved with this?
They should call you.
No, they're not calling me.
Let's give out his cell phone number.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not.
The school, which is an academy. I'm a state instructor, right? I'm state certified and all that other stuff.
Website, or give some contact info?
So I'll give you a website, and if anybody's listening, they can quickly grab a pencil, but it's THT Tactical Training at gmail.com. So it's THT, all one word, THT, Tom Howard Tom, Tactical Training at gmail.com. And it's great. It's a very reliable place. I deal with a lot of the judges here. When people go for their pistol licenses, I wrote the handgun safety program for the county. I understand the issues in my own county, and I want to protect my county. I want people to take these classes. They're $150. That's 8 hours of misery because I have to lecture. But if you survive that, you get a certificate from somebody who has got some experience in the courtroom.
Well, and specifically, I know that. I was one of the judges that had to decide whether or not permits were issued. Yeah. There are others also. It is not a requirement under the law, but in Ulster County, in order for you to obtain a permit for a handgun, you must go through one of the courses,
Yeah.
such as yours, and provide that certificate to the court. Otherwise, your application will be denied.
Absolutely.
So, and that is, and I'm a strong believer in the Second Amendment. I'm sure you are also.
Absolutely, yeah.
But through the experiences that you've had and I've had, it is such a dangerous proposition for an individual to have a handgun and not fully understand first the method of operating, and secondly, the consequences that can result. So,
and then they get to see you in court.
So thtofnewyork.com, that's the website, and there's a contact us if you want to learn more about, how to safely use a handgun. Or any kind of gun, I guess, right? Not just that.
Or any type of, chemical deterrents, pepper sprays and things like that.
Right,
What's legal,
right.
what's not legal.
Yeah.
Now Taser is legal in New York State, which is interesting.
Yeah.
a taser that actually is, there are two type of tasers. One that can act as a projectile.
Yeah, it's
also
not a stun
fires
gun,
it.
so it's a one that's like, so it's obviously a big
Well,
difference.
it's got the
Yeah.
wires at the end of it? No.
Yeah, but anybody who wants to get one of those should contact me before they buy any.
THT of New York. Ken Cooper, thank you for.
That was a quick half hour.
That goes
goes
in a
quick.
blink, man.
With,
It goes in a
with good
blink.
guess, it
Content,
does go,
yes, yeah.
go quickly.
No, that's good. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and have a great Thanksgiving, and
yeah.
stay low.
I can be invited to dinner, just so you know.
When Tony invites you, does he
I'm out there.
tab?
I'm out there. All right, folks. Thank you, Ken Cooper. Dan, take it away.
Thank you, Tony Marmo and Don Williams, and a very, very special thanks to Ken Cooper. And you are with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, WGHQ, and streaming online at mykcr.org. Monday, November 22nd, and 45 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This portion of KCR is underwritten by Sawyer Motors. Bob Circasano and the whole Sawyer Motors team are there for you on 166 Ulster Avenue in Saugerties, New York. 12477. See what their inventory is. And this last portion of Kingston Community Radio has also been brought to you by Herzog's. Because the colors and quality of paint you choose matters, Herzog's Paint and Design Center, located in the Kingston Plaza, is there for you. Stop by Herzog's Kingston, in the Kingston Plaza, for your home, building, maintenance, and painting needs, and discover the difference of buying local. Sales ongoing at herzogs.com. We'll be right back after these messages.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hi, my name is George Post from Ulster Park, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you. Where else can you speak to your local representatives on the air and have your questions answered? So thank you and support KCR.
And we're back You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. 45 degrees on this Monday, November 22nd, and this upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, one near you. Slight chance of a morning shower today with considerable cloudiness this morning. Some decrease in the clouds later in the day, a morning high of 49, with temperatures actually falling to near 35 degrees later in the day. Mostly clear tonight with a low down to 27. And Tuesday, we have a sunny skies. Nice sunny day on Tuesday tomorrow. And a clear night Tuesday night with a low of 22. And Wednesday, sunny with a high around 45 degrees. And Wednesday night, a few clouds, a low near 25. Now let's get back to the on-air studio with Don Williams, Tony Marmo, and our new guest. Thank you.
All right, we're back, folks. It's Marvelous Monday.
You know something? One of these days, I'm going to watch YouTube to see what my expression is when you do this.
It's
marvelous.
Cringing. It's
marvelous.
It's marvelous. Who used
Marvelous
to do that?
Monday.
You look marvelous.
You look marvelous Monday. Billy Crystal, I think.
Yes.
Yes, Billy Crystal did that. Yeah,
it's amazing. You are a vast resource for useless information.
Exactly. Trivia that no one will ever use in their entire life.
Morning.
Yeah, you got to get
close to that
You
mic.
got to get close
I'm
to
in
the
there.
mic. Okay, we're so this is Tony Marmo, and you are the
Donald Williams.
aforementioned Donald Williams, and
Don't give me legal terms, please. Aforementioned. Where to for?
where art thou, Romeo? Where thou?
Sorry about that. We
quite all right. I'll
we
let you
just
we go
banter.
back
laugh.
a long time.
We get a lot of laughs. So our last segment, we've had a great show with Taylor and Jillian Bruck, and Ken Cooper just left us. And now we're going to talk about everyone's favorite subject, if you are at least age 65 or older, and Medicare. Our Medicare. Welcome, Peter Ryan. How are you?
Thank you very much. Or 2 years of disability. There's quite a few people
Right.
on Medicare under 65.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's stick with the old folks for a minute. But before we do that, let's give a little background on yourself. You grew up where?
Well, I was born in the Bronx, but grew up in the Windsor-Newburgh area.
Okay.
And for the past 13 years or so, my career has focused specifically only on Medicare. I'm a life and health agent, but my focus is just this one subject to help the community with their Medicare needs.
Gotcha. You're also a music aficionado of extraordinary background in music, seriously.
Peter, please,
Yeah.
tell. We should discuss Medicare, but what is the
We
music?
will.
I would much prefer to talk about music myself.
It may be a little more interesting, however.
It is.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your music?
Well, my music background is just from the listening side. I can't
okay.
play a chord or sing a note, but I listen heavily to progressive rock music that a lot of people know of, like Genesis, Pink Floyd, Yes, Rush. But there are many more bands that have continued that tradition, and that's pretty much what I listen to these days.
That's a whole nother show.
Modern progressive rock, yeah.
My son lives in New
Radio
Orleans. He plays lead guitar, but the music is, I call it headbanger music because it's what I want to do when I hear it. But progressive rock is great.
Much more melodic, much more, you know.
Can you
that
understand
you can hear the lyrics.
There is a melody. It's amazing, yes.
And it continues today.
All right, so that's another show for another time. But let's talk about Medicare. We're in this this funny season of open enrollment, right? And so that means people have choices, but most people don't even know where to start, and maybe have been told to do this or do that. I don't know where you even start. Let's start at the beginning, wherever you want. I mean, there's some changes, but it's such a huge, deep subject, overwhelming, right? For a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Which is why people like you exist to help.
I think the main place to start would be with a lot of the fallacies people have, especially because all these seniors, I feel so bad for so many of you. You're getting inundated with mail, phone calls. I go to people's homes and the stack is, super high.
Right.
And it's sad, but I tell them,
right?
yeah, TV, J.J. Walker, and everybody else talking about Medicare. And the truth of the matter is,
Dynamite.
Yeah, if your plan is fine, if it's worked for you last year, if your doctor still accepts the plan, There is no need to change every single year, and that is the call most people get, that it's time to change your plan. Well, that's not the truth. Again, I'll go right back to it. First thing you need to do every year during open enrollment is take a look at your own personal health and wealth. If they've stayed the same, if your health has not changed, if you don't feel that you're going to the doctor much more often than you were previously, if you're not in the hospital, you can't predict your hospitalizations, but if your health has relatively stayed the same, there's no reason to change your plan. But if you call your doctor, and you should contact all your doctors every year to say if they are still in network with the plan that you have. And now we're talking strictly about Medicare Advantage, because there are two different ways to get Medicare.
Can you explain that, if you don't mind, Peter?
And I just wanted to first start with eligibility. How old do you need to be to qualify for Medicare?
Give us some basics.
Yeah.
So again, the basics are 65 or older. The month you turn 65 would be your eligibility month. So if you turn, if today's the month of November, if you turn 65 on the 26th of November, your eligibility date would actually be November 1st.
And that's mandated, correct? Once you turn 65,
it's mandated that you'll enroll in Part A. Part B is the part that is voluntary.
Right. And Part A is what, and what is Part B?
Sure. Part A is your hospitalization. Part B is your doctor visits and your outpatient services. Okay. So if you are on a qualified plan through an employer and you're over 65, you may not need to pick up Part B or a Medicare plan.
Because your insurance under your employer is indeed your Part B.
Correct.
Primary is Medicare.
Correct.
Secondary is whatever insurance you have under your employer, or if you've done it individually, correct?
That's correct as well.
And the Advantage, Medicare Advantage, is in essence, if you have insurance under your employer, if you want to replace it or you don't have it under your employer, you can sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan.
Or a Medicare supplement plan. And
so there's two different.
What is the difference?
Okay. So the first thing, just to go back just a little bit, if your employer's coverage, including their drug plan, this is the key word that you always want to hear.
We're talking about Medicare D, correct?
Correct.
Is there a Z for that?
No Z yet.
And what happened to C?
LMNOP.
Medicare Advantage is considered Part C.
Oh, geez. You thought they skipped a letter,
Yeah,
Judge.
As I said before you got on here, I have been a district attorney, a judge for 40 years. I could preside or prosecute a murder case easier than negotiating and navigating these rules under Medicare. I'm not
staggering.
An ignorant person. They are staggering.
They are staggering, and it's one of the reasons I have to recertify my license every single year. I have to study and get tested every year to make sure that I'm knowledgeable so that I can communicate what I'm speaking about.
Because depending upon what political party is in power, it changes also. Although the basic tenets are
stay the same.
Medicare. Yeah. If you're 65, you must enroll, and that's hospitalization Part A.
Part A, yep.
Part B is for doctor care and other comparable care.
Or outside services.
Outside services. Give us some example of what some of those outside services.
Well, that could be like X-rays. It could be, any
MRIs.
Therapy, exactly. And doctor services.
And that is something that, are you required to have it?
You're required to pick up Part B if you don't have coverage through your employer, known as creditable coverage. Now, these are some of the situations that a lot of seniors are falling into. Most know that you need to pick up Part B. If you don't pick up Part B within 63 days of eligibility without having creditable coverage, there is a penalty, and it's
significant.
It's significant.
Yeah.
It's 10% for Part B. It's 1% where most people fall under the penalty, and I'm sure there's a percentage of your listening audience that has a Part D penalty for their prescription coverage, and that's 1% of the annual amount estimated for a prescription plan. And what typically happens, most seniors that I sit down, I've been doing this again better than 10 years, a couple of hundred clients, they tell me that, well, I'm not on any prescription. Nobody ever told me that I needed to pick up a Part D plan. So what happens is you don't feel the penalty until you actually pick up a Medicare plan or a Part D plan. So last year, for example, Part B was $148.50 every single month.
It's 174, correct?
It's got 170, 160. It's going up this year. It's going up
and
$21.
that is required that you pay regardless of your background.
Regardless of what type of plan you want to pick up, whether it be a Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement, you need to be enrolled in Part B for those two types
Peter,
of plans.
explain the difference between a Medicare Advantage and the Medicare Supplement.
Excellent question, Tony. Yep, sure. And it is a key difference. It's basically
These are the two programs you have, options you have available for Medicare B, correct?
They're the two options you have once you've enrolled in Part B. There's two separate, distinct ways to get Medicare.
Okay.
You can't have them both. You can't have them both ways. You can only choose from one column A or column B. It's one of the opposite. Yep.
One's a supplement, one's an advantage.
One's a supplement, correct. So Medicare Advantage would be the most common way for most seniors these days pick up Medicare. When I first started, people were so confused by it 10 years ago because some of these plans, some of these HMOs are literally $0 a month. After you pay that $170, $120, I can enroll you in a plan that is literally $0 a month. So
I thought this was just a marketing ploy. Now again, when we say there are two options, that is if you choose not to continue if you are being covered under your employer.
Correct. These are for people.
So there are really three.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if you're off your employer's insurance, these are the two basic Medicare options. So Medicare Advantage, again, $0 a month they start at. Those are typically HMOs. There is a new PPO in the market that is a zero premium PPO, but most of them are HMOs. And talking about Medicare Advantage, the difference between a Medicare Advantage plan and a Medicare Supplement plan is completely different. So a Medicare Advantage plan, you are basically you're still within the Medicare system, but instead of the federal government being responsible for 80% of your coverage like they are with a supplement plan and the insurance company picking up the other 20%, a Medicare Advantage plan takes over entirely. Whatever carrier you go with, I'd rather not mention carriers by name, but whatever
carrier you're talking about, the major insurance
companies, correct. So they are literally 100% in charge of your Medicare coverage on a Medicare Advantage plan. So even though you are paying $0 a month, what people don't realize is that $148.50, which is going up to $171.60, I think. Is that the right number? That goes to the insurance carrier, plus the insurance carrier
from the government.
From the government,
right, so
correct.
You pay the government, the government pays the insurance carrier.
Right.
And the last time I checked, it was around $1,000 a month that the insurance carrier pays. I'm sorry, that the government pays to the insurance carrier to keep you covered. Right. So when you're in the route of a Medicare Advantage, the concern is that you're within a network of doctors. Your doctor has to be in network specifically if it's an HMO. You can only go to in-network doctors, whereas if you have a PPO, you can go to your network of doctors or go outside of the network but just pay more for those services.
So you're paying more when you get to choose out-of-network physicians.
Correct.
But that's above and beyond the $170, $160 that you pay the government.
Right, and the $16 or $0 that you're paying. So when you're in the Medicare Advantage, you're going to have co-payments as you use it.
All right, whether it's an HMO or a PPO.
Or a PPO.
What does HMO stand for and what
Health
is PPO?
Maintenance Organization, Planned
Parenthood Organization. I don't think I need that anymore.
Organization, yes, preferred provider.
Is there a benefit or... What are the benefits? What are the advantages?
Excellent question.
I shouldn't say advantage.
I try to, within the network of Advantage plans, I strongly recommend that all my clients go with the PPO. I'm not a big fan of HMOs because the easy analogy is like driving, an HMO is driving on a one-lane highway. You cannot deviate. If your doctor does not take that plan, if your doctor recommends a specialist who is not within network, you can't
have access to care.
Exactly. So for
access, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
No, you can't even pay for it. You cannot go. You'll pay out of pocket.
You'll pay out of pocket for whatever the incredibly what the expenses are.
Exactly.
Okay.
Versus a PPO where you have that option of going in or out of the network. But again, like we said before, if you go out of the network, you're going to pay a little bit more.
So what's the supplement then? The Medicare supplement plan.
So now the supplement, and just quickly with the Advantage plan as well, that's going to include your doctor, your hospital, and your pharmaceutical plan, your prescription plan.
All right, so if you take the Advantage plan, it includes Part D.
Part D, which is very important.
And, you know, for an elderly person, such as Tony, you want simplification, not complexity. So basically, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. No fuss, no muss.
No fuss.
If you're not in the hospital a lot, if you go to the doctor just a couple of times of the year, generally most of my clients between the ages of 65 and 75, unless they're wealthy, you know, I recommend they go to an Advantage plan.
Unlike Tony.
You're buying dinner next time. I don't give a damn what you're.
Let's talk a little bit about supplement.
Yeah, one before we get to supplement, because we still have some time. Okay. This is terribly interesting.
We have 5 minutes roughly, 6 minutes.
I thought it was 10. Okay, let's go to supplements.
Let me ramble on some. So supplements. So supplements are done completely differently. Supplements, you're going to pay depending on the carrier and the letter. You're going to pay a premium every month for your Medicare supplement plan.
On top of the 171,
always
you pay
on top
for
of the
Medicare.
171, correct. Okay, so you have to be enrolled in Part B for an Advantage or a supplement. So now when you enroll in a supplement plan, the one that was the most prevalent that is no longer available is Plan F. Okay, Plan F.
So you have that one?
The big F.
The big F. Okay,
right. Plan F.
Which is a little bit of a waste of money, and we'll go into that one as well. Okay, so Plan F has been grandfathered out, I think, for about 2 years now. So if you're turning 65, this conversation means nothing to you because you can't even enroll in Plan F anymore. The next letter down is Plan G, and then the other third letter that is most common is Plan N. So
I can think of 4 letters right now that describe perfectly how I feel.
Plan F, of course, is the most expensive, and there is no deductible and no copayment at the doctor.
Like Tier 1, right? Tier 1 on pension.
It's the best of the best.
You're paying significant premiums.
You're paying a significant premium that's gone up quite a bit this year.
What? And I know it depends on the company, but what would
it's over $300 a month?
It's about $300 a month
on top
now.
of the 171
and the separate drug plan. So even back when Plan F was available, if people wanted the best of the best, I would recommend to them Plan G. Now, Plan G is Plan F, except it now includes the deductible, the Part B deductible, which has also gone up. Previously, last year, it was $203. You would pay the first $203 of your Part B expense, which again is your doctors and your outpatient services. That's been bumped up this year to $233. So you're going to pay the first $233. Then with Plan G, you would have no co-payments at the doctor or hospital.
And co-payments are normally $20 or $25 for a typical visit to a hospital or a physician.
On an Advantage plan. But with the supplement plans, again, you would with F or G, you would have no co-payment.
But your premiums are higher.
So the third one down, the compromise that most people go with. And again, the reason why a person would go with a supplement is wealth. They can afford it because it is definitely more expensive. It is more diverse coverage. You don't have to ask your doctor if he accepts your Medicare plan.
There's no HMO or PPO involved.
Correct.
It's from the U.S. federal government.
The question you ask is not, do you take this carrier? Is, do you accept original Medicare reimbursement? And if they take Medicare reimbursement, they accept the other 20% that would come from the supplement plan.
Right.
And where does Part D kick in?
That's very important as well. Part D is your prescription plan, which is kind of interesting because with an Advantage plan that's either 0, 16, or whatever your carrier is charging you, generally includes your Part D prescription plan.
We have a call, which we'll try to take. Hopefully it's not a 20-minute conversation. We only have like 5 minutes left. Sure. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
3-minute call, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to know, I have the supplement plan, I have the F plan, I also have the Medicare, but I get what's called extra help, and I keep getting things from Medicare, to change. My plan, it takes the Advantage plan, and like I said, I get extra help. I don't have to pay my Medicare, The premium has really gone up a lot with the supplement with the plan. I used to pay $250. This year I'm paying $267.50. But I don't have to pay anything when I go to a doctor. So it would be to my advantage to stay where I'm at, or should I change it to the Advantage plan?
Well, here's the thing. To be honest with you, most of my clients that are on Extra Help is available to seniors who are below certain income limits. And when you qualify for Extra Help, the government will pay for your Part B, okay? And generally up to $40. Do you pay for your prescription plan, or is the Extra Help pay for that as well?
Well, I pay only $3 on my prescriptions.
But
when I get them filled, I do pay a small premium every month. I pay like $10 a month and change.
Okay. So what that means is that your drug plan is probably somewhere around $50, and the government is also picking up approximately $40 of your drug plan as well. So my advice to you is, most people on Extra Help cannot afford to pay for a supplement plan. So most of them do go to an Advantage plan. So it really depends on your health and your wealth. If you're in the hospital a lot, if your doctors don't take any specific plan, if you can continue to afford this plan, then you could stay with a supplement plan, maybe go down a letter to letter G or N. But generally, for my clients that are on Extra Help, most of them are on an Advantage plan because it's much more affordable.
All right, we need to get moving on. We only have a couple of minutes. Thank you for calling in, caller. Peter's going to give some contact information pretty soon so that folks can reach out to him if they have questions, right?
Yeah. The one last thing I would recommend, if I can get something out real quick, I don't think we have time to talk about it today. There is a New York State program that I highly recommend every senior look into, and most specifically probably pick it up as well. It's called New York State EPIC, EPIC. And EPIC is for seniors specifically if you have high expense pharmaceutical plans. Like if you're on tier 3 drugs, expensive medications, this will help reduce the cost of those medications. But it has a secondary benefit that creates a special enrollment period for seniors who are, let's say, on an Advantage plan. People often ask, well, what if I'm on an Advantage and I want to go to Sloan Kettering? God forbid I get cancer. Sloan Kettering will not take most of your Advantage plan. So that enrollment in New York State EPIC creates a special enrollment period once throughout the year that if you need to change in an emergency and it's June or July, there's no enrollment period, you'll be able to switch for the first of the month into a supplement plan to get that more diverse coverage and go to other hospitals.
Peter, please give some contact information because, in a half hour, this is like Raiders of the Lost Ark trying to find the Ark in the warehouse.
So complicated. Peter did a great time explaining, but
sure, give some contact info,
I don't
please.
have a website. I probably should. You can contact me on my cell phone. I'll answer it 24/7. If I don't pick up, I will call you back. My number is 845-863-6844. And as with any
one more time.
Yep, 845-863-6844. There is no expense. There's no charge to you for my services. All these plans have built-in commissions. I'll give you another piece of advice. If any agent tries to charge you an application fee, as I've heard some people try to do, avoid that person like the plague. Do not call Jimmy Walker. Do not call any of those other commercials. You're going to get 200 people just like me, and I'm pretty sure 199 of them will have a lot less education about the subject.
So there are no charges for your services.
It's all
you
built
receive a commission built into the program.
It's really a great system because I am your first line of defense. If you have a problem with Medicare, if your drug or coverage is not covered, you call me. You do not call the 800 number, and it's my responsibility to resolve your problems, and that is the purpose of hiring an agent.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, really, each case is individual, I think, and this is you're hitting generalities, which is important because it's a very complex subject, as we said, but it's critical because it's a great benefit from the U.S. government. We don't have universal health care, we don't have universal health care insurance, and for the seniors, it's wealth protection. It's it hopefully keeps you in good stead. But Peter Ryan, thank you for coming in. Give your cell phone one more time, please.
Sure. Again, it's 845-863-6844. I'm located in Highland. I make house calls, and I'm more than happy to help everybody in the Hudson Valley community.
We'll
Do you accept texts also?
Yeah. We'll try to get Pete back on to talk about it. I mean, it's too big for 1/2 hour show, right?
It's and it's most certainly too big for individuals who become 65 or older to try to negotiate.
Work through it.
It's so difficult. It really is. Peter, you were great.
Yeah, thanks. Dan the Man, thank you so much for keeping us on the straight and narrow here today on Marvelous Non-Medical Monday.
Please do it once more.
Oh, it's Marvelous Monday.
God, I absolutely so enamored with you.
All right, folks, listen, be well, be safe. Take care of each other out there. Go and do a random act of kindness for somebody. Please try that. It's Thanksgiving. 'Tis the season, but it should be 12 months a year. Help people out less fortunate than you.
Well put, Tony.
Have a great week and a blessed Thanksgiving. All right, Danny.
Thank you, Tony Marmo, Dawn Williams, and all our guests. Oh, my heavens, we had some great guests today. Taylor Brook and Jillian Nadiak Brook and Ken Cooper, Peter Ryan, and you've been with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio. Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and our live streaming on mykcr.org. Talk radio at its best, inspired discussions of, by, and for the community. We invite you to be with us tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., as we do our show 7 to 9 a.m. every weekday. And until tomorrow, for a terrific Tuesday, we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our neighboring communities. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Many locations throughout the Mid-Hudson Valley, one near you. Now we return you now to Magic 92.5.
This is the Hudson Valley station for great songs and magic memories. 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. We're streaming through our website, WGHQ.FM, and you can listen on your smart speaker when you say, play WGHQ from TuneIn. This is Magic 92.5 WGHQ with another hour of great songs and magic memories, starting right now.
Morning, Mr. Radio. Morning, little Cheerios. Morning, Sister Oreo. Did I tell you everything is fine? In my mind. Morning, Mr. Shoe Shining. Shining bright and white and tan. My baby said she loves me, and need I tell you that everything here is just fine? In my mind. Excuse me if I say my heart has found its way